going to start revealing all the secrets of Motorica to you. A free, yes, I said free, AI-based animation plugin for a real engine for making incredible animations. Let's start from the basics. Idle, walk, run. So, let's get started.
Such a stupid. I know I'm just a little bit crazy. I'm sorry, but that's how I have fun. Alright, now let's get serious, more or less. So, the first thing you need to do is go to the Motorica website, motorica.ai. From this page you can create an account, for free of course. If you want to use Motorica Studio online and get the animation you need as FBX. But to use Motorica Studio in a real engine, go to Resource, click on a real engine plugin and create another account from this page, following the warning. I've been using Motorica for 2 years, so I already have a legacy account and I also use it for the online Motorica Studio. Once done, open the Downloads page. And here, scroll down until you don't find the file. Unfortunately, Motorica Studio only works until Unreal Engine 5.5. But you can create animation in 5.5 and export them to 5.6 or 5.7. So, download the file and then unzip it. Go to the Motorica Studio folder. Copy it and paste it into the plugin folder of your Unreal Engine 5.5. Open Unreal Engine 5.5 and search for Motorica Studio in your installed plugins. Check the box and restart the engine. Done. Once you restart, the Motorica Studio icon will appear here. Click on it and you are in Motorica Studio. So, let's log in and take a look at the interface. Up here we can choose between the base Motorica Studio level or the game world level. The latter will be the focus of the next episode. Then you can choose to work in keyframe mode or in preset mode to get animation quickly. You can use the preset type, the speed and the target speed. But best way to make animations is the keyframe mode. Let's see how. First thing first, add an actor in the level. Here on the left we have the style browser with 100 different styles. Very cool. You have a different style for every scene, from the zombie to the old man, to the wounded, cowboy, soldier and so on. Incredible. And in the right panel you have the transformation parameters, the button for creating and saving animations, and the random C to always have random animations even if they use the same style. For example, to create different idols with the same style. And we will look at this in a bit. Let's look at an idle example with a small variation to begin understanding how keyframe mode works. Create a keyframe at frame 0, then choose the style. Here I used 2 styles. We can in fact use multiple styles and blend them together in different percentages. Then it generates animation. And here we are with our first idol. I don't really like the balanced style, but it doesn't matter, it's just an example. Now let's create a little variation. I create a new keyframe with the same transform parameters at the end of the timeline, at second 10. And more or less in the middle of the timeline I rotate the actor a little bit. Generate animation. Obviously the actor rotates and then returns to the starting point, but I want the rotation to be concentrated only at the central point of the animation. This is a very important point for creating animation. To have movement only at a specific point we need to create multiple keyframes. For example, I copy the initial keyframe and paste it at more or less the 3rd second, and then again at the 5th second. This way, the actor will remain still for 4 seconds and then begin to rotate, and only returning to the starting position at the 5th second. Look! Another important thing to keep in mind is the use of the loops. For example, to create idles longer than 10 seconds, or walking cycles or running cycles. This way the first and the last keyframes will match. Here I clicked on Generate Animation with Loop Animation checked, and you can see how the first and the last frame are matching. Cool. We can test different idles using the technique I mentioned earlier. A single style, in this case man alerted, and 6 random seeds. Let's start with the first. Keep loop animation checked. Click on Generate Animation and save the animation. Here I create a specific folder and rename the file. Keep everything as is and press again to generate animation. The random seed will generate a different idle animation. Save the animation and go on. I created 6 different idle animations. Now we need to retarget them to MetaHuman skeleton. Copy the name of the first one. Open the retarget animation window. Here paste the name to easily find it. Ctrl A to select all, choose the MetaHuman skeleton mesh as target and hit export animations. Done. I decided to export the animations in an Unreal Engine 5.6 project. You have to create them in Unreal Engine 5.5, but then you can simply export them to the last version of the engine. Here I've assigned a specific idle to the body of each MetaHuman in the level. Then just play simulation to see the result. As you can see, the idles are all different and their loops are perfect. If you want, then you can adjust something like the head rotation, for example, using the control rig, or even directly in the animation sequence using the right bone. I want to tell you something. When I was creating the MetaHuman crowd system, I needed a lot of idles, and so I bought a lot of assets and spent a lot of money. But then I thought, why didn't I create all the idles I needed with Motorica for free? So, greetings to all the guys who creates and sells the idle animation assets. And to all the guys, the idiot guys like me who continue to buy them. That's all. Keep in mind. Okay, now let's take a look at the walk animations. Here I've chosen the zombie style blended with the cool guy style. Then I check loop animation because I want to create a walk cycle. I want the actor walk more than 10 seconds. Go to the last frame of the timeline or better one or two frames before the end. Keep in mind that you can use the square as a reference for distance. Each square equals 1 meter. Then, just hit generate animation and you have done. Not bad. Then save the animation. To get a perfect walk cycle, you need to transform the keyframe interpolation from cubic to linear. Again, generate animation and save it. For the third example, I want to show you how easy it is to get a walk from idle and walk to idle animation in just a few seconds. Create a keyframe to the frame 0, then another identical at second one. Then move the actor forward and create a keyframe at second 8. More or less. And create another identical keyframe 1 second later. Generate animation and here we are. With a perfect transition between idle and walk. To test the walk animation, I've retargeted the mold to the metahuman skeleton. Don't mind about the last two you see in the panel, they were just a test. Create a level sequencer. Add metahuman to it. Delete the control rig and start from the first walk animation we created. Click on the animation track and press F to zoom on it. The animation looks pretty good. Now let's test if the loop works fine. Duplicate the track at the end of the first one. And obviously select the root bone in Match with this bone in previous clip from the pop-up menu. Everything works perfect. The loop works fine. Now it's time to test the second walking animation. I simply replace the animations in the timeline. This time the actor shouldn't stop at the end of the first 10 seconds. The walking cycle could be continuous. Let's see. Nice. You can also add a third track to have a 30 seconds walk animation, and so on. Alright, for the running animation, the concept is very simple. Just shorten the final position in the timeline, and you're done. Now I like to test the animation with a giant style. Create a keyframe at frame 0 and another towards the end. The animation is not so bad, but I wish the actor would stop more quickly. And to do that, just change the last keyframe interpolation from cubic to linear. Look. Good. And now I also want the actor to run faster. I just need to move the final keyframe a little farther back. Wow, perfect! Okay, let's see something more complex now. The actor starts from an idle animation, then turns 180 degrees and starts running. I rotate the actor, create two identical keyframes at 0 and at 1 second to have a little idle. Then I move it just a little bit forward and rotate it again 180 degrees. Now I want it to run, so I move it forward some meters in a few seconds and make the interpolation of the last keyframe linear to have a quick stop. Let's test the work. The run is too slow to me. So, just drag the last keyframe back a little bit in the timeline, and also try to make linear the interpolation of the third keyframe. Just again. Now the run is good, but the initial sprint is too fast. Try to make the third keyframe cubic again to have a more smooth sprint. Then I create another keyframe with the same transform on the fourth one to have an idle. I like the idea of having the actor walk backwards for a bit, and I create a new keyframe at this point. Here a little idle and then a little turn in place. Generate animation and test it. Fantastic! In less than 10 seconds in the timeline we have created some of the standard animations for locomotion animation assets, such as idle, turn 180 degrees, sprint, run, walk backward and turn in place. And all these animations are perfectly blended together. And we did it all in a minute. Finally, I want to show you how we can create several complex animations and merge them together in the level sequencer. Here I use manual as control mode of the random seed. This could help me have a smoother transition between different animations. Generate the first one. If you're happy, you can save the animation. To be cleaner and tidier, it's better use the same name for all the animations in a numerical order. The focal point of this process is to use the last keyframe of the last animation as the first keyframe of the new one. This way the transform data of the animations will match. So for the next animation, just copy the last keyframe and paste it into the frame 0. Create a new animation. And repeat the same process for each animation you need until the end. Then retarget all the animations to the MetaHuman skeletal mesh. Put one MetaHuman into the level sequencer and assign all the animations created to it in the right sequence. Here we are. The animation looks good enough, but there's still some problem about the blend. Here for example I use the pelvis to match this animation to the previous one, but there's still a strange foot sliding. This will be fixing using the control rig. That's all for now, guys. In the next episode we will finally use Motorica to create incredible locomotion animation directly in the Unreal Engine level. So stay tuned, and if you like, just follow me, it's easy. For the rest, enjoy life always, and of course, ciao!